I was so excited a couple weeks ago. I found one of my favorite mixed media artists who had been gone for a while. Looks like she's back, and she is now under the name of Artful Evidence. And so I watched a video of hers and got inspired to make something very similar to what she did. So this week, what I'm doing in my art spread is just putting some gesso down and just to give myself a little bit of a base. I'm going to lay that aside. And I'm going to stamp this tree image, and it's not tall enough, so I want to make it a little bit taller. So I stamp the top part of it and then putting the base down at the bottom. This is a stamp that you won't be able to find anymore. It's Bugawumps. The woman who created this art is no longer in business, so I don't know that you would ever be able to find this stamp, but she just had some of the cutest stamp sets. So I'm just kind of scratching in that trunk to make it look longer, and I'm going to use this to lay down on my piece of art so that it really pops out from the background. And so I'm just cutting those little curly cues off, but trying to get as close as I can to each of the leaves. And then once I get done with that, I'm going to get in there and cut out these little empty spaces in between the leaves, because it really does make a difference when your background shows through. I think it goes without saying, whenever you're using an X-Acto knife, please be careful and make sure that your blade is sharp. I think when I have cut myself, it's usually because my blade is not sharp enough, and so I'm pressing too hard, and then I'm not as much in control. So just make sure you have a sharp blade and just be very careful. That little stubborn piece out of there. Okay, there you go. Set that aside. And now what I am doing is I'm going to be laying down some paint and like a gradation, reds and pinks, and going to punch some heart shapes out of this. So when you're working with acrylics, you know you just have to kind of move fast in order to blend those colors. Yeah, it's not that critical. These heart shapes aren't going to be that big, but I just kind of wanted to have different variations of reds and pinks in here. Now I am going to lay down some colors actually in my book, and I'm starting out with the lightest first. You can always go darker. It's hard to go back light. I don't really have any specific plan here. Same thing. I just want to start laying down colors. Having fun, just slapping some paint on here. So I've got a good base of pink on here. And then I'm going to start bringing in some darker colors, and again, gradually going up. So I've got some mauve I'm going to throw in here. Now, the tree that I'm going to place on this is going to stay white, just black and white. And so I'm really thinking that probably I'm going to be better off going with darker colors so that it jumps off of the page. But still not exactly sure what I'm doing. So getting these colors down, and eventually I do get it fairly dark. You know, just nervous about getting it too dark right from the get-go. But I definitely decide it needs to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going to get in there and darken it up. So that's exactly what I've done. And then, of course, once you get it darker, now I'm going to try to bring a little bit more of that pink in, just to give some contrast. And then I'm going to get some gesso and kind of brighten it up just a little bit. Like I said, I don't want too much white because my tree is going to be white, but I did want just a little bit more of a pop there. And then I'm just going to kind of push it back with a wet wipe. Then once it's all dry, I'm getting in here with some texture stamps, just kind of some bark shapes and some words, just something to bring some dark pop on top of those whites and light pinks. And then I'm going to go in here with this tree trunk that's going to bring those reds back in, just to give it a little bit of some interest. I think that about does it. One more little one right there. Okay, let go. Now I'm going to go back in with my Bugawumps and I'm going to stamp the top. My main purpose of doing this is to bring those little curly cues out because I didn't cut those out, so I want those to appear on the page. And I don't have the base of it stamped because I'm going to just lay this down. Perfect. So I'm going to stick this down with some matte medium. I keep my matte medium in these little jars that they were old Palmolive or Dawn or something, and that's really convenient. So just kind of pasting this down with the matte medium. And then making sure that it's adhered well, but the whole thing's covered in matte medium so that way I can wipe anything off of it. And then I'm just putting a little bit of matte medium on the other side, so same thing. I want to kind of preserve what's beneath it, and I don't want to mess it up with anything. So here are my little hearts I've punched out, and I am just putting a little dab of glue under each one of them just to kind of make sure I've got them exactly where I want them. And then they won't move around because once I get done with that, I will cover the whole thing again with matte medium. That way they will definitely be permanently affixed. I think I'm happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and just seal it up with matte medium. I don't have to be too heavy or anything, just want to make sure. I was a little upset when I first started to put the tree down. One of my inks was not quite dry, and so my leaves turned a little bit pink, but yeah, move on. So I cut out some letters and lined them up with a ruler and then put a little piece of washi tape on so that I can put the glue on, and they're perfectly lined up. And I can get these on my page. And I don't have to fiddle with each one of them, taking a chance that they're going to move around a lot. But this is a pretty easy trick when you've got something like this that you want to make sure it's lined up. So I get those glued down and want to go ahead and get that washi tape off of there just in case some... Oh, for crying out loud. Squeezed out underneath those letters. I did not want that washi tape sticking. So, whoops. Ooh. Okay, let's go from this side. Oh, good. Okay, I think that's salvaged. Make sure that's down good. So there you go. I am doing this as somewhat of a Valentine's Day page and decided this was appropriate. Creativity begins with an affinity for something. It's like falling in love. You get a little nervous trying to start, like, is this going to be good? Am I going to have enough space? Just go. Just do it. I'm sticking on my love letters. Careful with that E. Yeah. Once I got everything down and it was good and dry, I decided to go back and outline these hearts with some black. That way they definitely pop out from the background and don't blend in. A couple of them were kind of blending in just a little bit, so I wanted to make sure that they were definitely separate. And then I'm going over my squigglies again just to make sure they're nice and dark. That's really just part of that stamp that just makes me happy, are the little squigglies. I really enjoyed doing this and so excited that Rachel's back. Just love her work and she gives me inspiration. So check out her channel, and I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Do you like it when I speed up my videos? Would you rather I did them real time? I don't know. Anyway, so again, thanks for watching and have a great Valentine's Day.